speaker oppositions might forget that there is the mechanism on how you apply certain visa towards certain country, and then that country have a considerations whether or not to accept or to ignore the visa itself, ladies and gentlemen. We believe that the moment when this migrant came into this country, there's already been a consent from this country to accept these immigrants, ladies and gentlemen. Thus, the country has the responsibility to protect and increase the protections in terms of economics and social rights, ladies and gentlemen. What we've proven to you as opening governments, we try to prove to you that the idea of the discriminations during about the economics and social rights, because we believe that the idea what they're explaining to you, that the idea of discriminating, for example, you are bullying certain people because they are from certain country, ladies and gentlemen. We think this is what handled by our current law, ladies and gentlemen. Our current law do not handle the discriminations towards the economics and the social rights. Even they do not give any protections towards which kind of right they can be gotten by these immigrants inside our country, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're going to do as an opening government. We're going to grant them more protections towards these economics and social rights by giving them welfare payment, ladies and gentlemen, and try to tell to them there's already a protections inside the society for you if you are being discriminated or you do not get anything from the government, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to do in my speech, I'm going to characterize to you what does the contributions given back from these migrants of the society, and this applies the same level of analysis on how society contributes towards the government itself. Firstly, we're going to analyze, we're going to rebut their idea. They're trying to say to you that the nation most interest is about the society. We do agree with this point, ladies and gentlemen. We think that the idea of our proposal doesn't necessarily mean that you are hurting or you are less prioritize your society, ladies and gentlemen. We try to say to you that our society will always be protected by our governments. It's in our constitutions. But moreover, that all of the country inside this world has a responsibility when they receive certain people inside to come inside their country to protect and give more but to give protections in terms of economic and social rights, ladies and gentlemen. Moreover, they try to tell to you that the idea of targeting the budget of nations is all about how the citizens itself, ladies and gentlemen. We don't think so. We think that several budget is allocated towards another level of point, not only targeting the society. For example, when you come towards war, or for example, when USA try to help another country in terms of war, how to fix the stability inside of it, ladies and gentlemen, that this idea is not allocating towards the society itself. Before, yeah?
The proposal of you ensuring migrants have economical welfare, are you going to impose law on corporates to make sure that they can be received in jobs?
We think that the idea of you giving quota is definitely different on how the idea of economic and social rights, ladies and gentlemen. What we're talking about will already been clear since the very first place. We're going is if they are there, poor, they're going to give them welfare payment, ladies and gentlemen. We think that it's already clear since the very first place. We're not going to oblige, if they even further, after in the future, if we're trying to say that our citizens already alright, ladies and gentlemen, that our citizens granted a job, then there are more room for these immigrants to get an access, a free access towards our job inside the current status quo, with inside our country. We think it's fine if we want to protect this, ladies and gentlemen. What we're trying to debating here on how whether or not they deserve more protection towards economics and social in terms of social rights, ladies and gentlemen. First, coming on what positive materials. First, we're trying to tell to you that the idea of the contributions, the idea that the existence of immigrants inside certain country is all the same with the what society existence inside certain country, ladies and gentlemen. This apply a whole big idea of free movement and unity of the world, ladies and gentlemen, on how that every single nations now try to support each other, try to help the economic conditions inside the other country, ladies and gentlemen. We try this what we're trying to reach in the current status quo. We think that the idea of free movements between nations is already been there, because we believe that the idea of free movement is get the access towards everybody easier, that you feel comfort and you even feel secure whether if you are in another country, ladies and gentlemen. Because what happen in the current status quo, when our students goes to study abroad, there is a doubt that they won't be secured inside several countries, ladies and gentlemen. With these proposals, there is no doubt towards them. With at least we try to tell to you that the economics and in terms of welfare payments and the guarantee to be done to be accessed in our country will always be there, ladies and gentlemen. If they try to compare to you that these people only extract everything inside our country and then they go out, ladies and gentlemen, within the very first place is already been on considerations of the governments to receive them in the very first place, ladies and gentlemen. On the idea on how they apply this visa for this from these people, ladies and gentlemen. If they really think that so, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to ignore the applications of these students, ladies and gentlemen. And the fact is, when they are accepting these students to come into their country, that means they have already consent. There is a responsibility for them to protect them, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we're going to. It is why we want to increase it, ladies and gentlemen. We try what happens. What the governments, opening governments tell to you so far. We try to tell to you that the idea of giving protections that the current status quo is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. On how we see that a lot of students being discriminated in terms of economics and socials. They are not given a subsidy towards the from the governments in terms of welfare payment, for example. We try to also tell to you that this is all applied towards all of nations in the world. Thus, there is no discriminations from another country towards another country. If certain country feels that this is they can simply limit this, the applications for the visa towards it, ladies and gentlemen. We try to tell you there is no simply problematic idea in our proposals. Moreover, we try to explain to you that the idea that the contributions given by these migrants towards the governments as a whole and towards another society, because they try to have the developments inside the country, then also they try to tell to you what is happening inside their country, ladies and gentlemen. A transfer of knowledge will always be there, and transfer of developments will always be there. Based on those reasons, we beg you to side with our